Welcome back to the Vision page. We're here with the absolute fan favorite, the VH14. There's been quite a few run-throughs of this van, but since then there have been a lot of changes as well. So my name's Alex and I'll be taking you through some of those changes today and some of the benefits and features we have in this van. Look, to start off with, we're going to start up at the front. We have a DO35 coupling. Most of you are pretty well aware of what this is, best in the industry. Now, the chassis themselves, this is one change. We are currently building those in-house at the moment, and what we do is we laser cut that, key weld it, and then we sent that off to get hot dipped, which gives us a lot more control over the quality that is coming out. Now, the front box, this has been pretty self-explanatory since we got the vans or started producing the vans. Not much has changed in that department. We have jerry cans either side with your two 4.5 kilo gas bottles, which is more than enough for what you need off-grid. Up the front here, we do have our water manifold system, which if you're not familiar with it, every single tank that we have on here, the three, they're all isolated. So we have 270 litres of drinking water in total, but we can isolate between those three to choose whether we want drinking water, washing water, whatever else you'd want as well. Now there is an onboard pump currently that will give you between 1 to 3 metres of elevation if you are trying to fill up out of a creek or something like that as well. Coming around the box, we do have a hot and cold shower that is plumbed on your awning side. Now, with something like that, you would suggest an attachment such as cold down the bottom, hot at the top, have a shower outside, wash your feet off, whatever is necessary. From there, we move across to our barbecue slide. Now, this has been fitted with a Weber adapter plate, which is super easy to use. It means you can be outside cooking on your barbecue without having to be cramped up into a little corner. Now, the van has two gas bayonets, one just underneath here and the other one on the other side, which is going to be for your outdoor kitchen. Now, with this toolbox at the top, we do have a very big tool drawer. Now, I personally use this for a lot of the barbecue equipment. Can't go anywhere without that barbecue at all. Wood box on top, standard feature moving forward in the 2023 range. It is fantastic for either storage of tarps, wood, anything like that, and we can put bike racks on top of that as well. Another new feature is going to be this work light at the top here. Super handy if you're at night time needing to work on the hitch, or you just want a bit more light when you're working around that barbecue as well. Moving on to the fridge slide. In here at the moment, we do have an ARB Zero fridge, 96 litre, plugged in through a grey Anderson plug. Now, directly above the fridge, we have your 4 gauges here, and they're going to be for the water tanks. So we have the front two, which are going to be the 2 tanks in front of the axles. We then have your grey water tank, which is going to be smack bang over the axles, and then that 3rd tank at the rear. So we've kept that as analog because if you're going off grid, put the phone away. It gives you full accessibility to see what's actually happening with your tanks. Now, we have also added in a little light boot in there as well, both for awning and on that driver's side. Now, these 2 lights being here and here, we've now made a few changes with those, so they're now going to be white, amber, or off. So perfect for all situations, especially if there are a few bugs around as well. Your pantry here, you have pantry number 1 and then pantry number 2. Now, there's plenty of storage in there. I'm quite organised, so I would definitely section it off into putting my containers in certain areas. However you do it is completely up to you. Your external sink, now this is hot and cold, so if you do want to do some dishes, wash some things off, you can do so, which is fantastic as well. Just above that, you'll have the light switches for your front lights, rear lights, and offside, and then your roof. The roof hasn't changed since we first came into the industry. We're using 4 worm drives on each corner, 1 on each corner, and that is a simple up and down with the press of a button. You can't stuff it up. The hardest part about doing that is having a beer in your hand whilst you're doing it. Now here we have control of the airbag system. Now with those airbags, it'll give you control over elevation either side, giving you about 100 mil clearance each side. So that is perfect if you're pulling up to a campsite that is on an embankment, allows you to pop up one of those sides as well. We come into the new kitchen. Now a little bit different from the original one you would have seen. That was the full swing out and around. This gives you a lot more usability and also helps with ball weight as well. We have a 3-hob Dometic gas burner, which if you are not using, you simply slide that away and it gives you a massive amount of bench space. On the left-hand side here, we've put 2 shelves. Now, these are fully adjustable. So if you have some bigger items, you can either move this top shelf up or remove it completely. Just above that, we have stepped our game up in terms of the power side of things. We now have 12 volts, USB-A points, and USB-C points, as most things these days are moving towards that. There will be a GPL above that with 2 points as well, so if you are needed to plug in some things, you can do so. Kept the racking system at the top here. It is extremely simple and easy to use and perfect for storage. Now, brings us to the windows. The windows are quite large for a hybrid van, a lot bigger than you do see with most, and it's super easy to use. Now, with the wheels, we're looking at either a 5 or a 6 stud pattern. Now, with that, we can pair it up with either a 0 or a positive 35 offset, depending on your vehicle, and it also leads towards interchangeable rims between the car and the van as well. Now, tyres. 285 70/17 is a standard, gives you plenty of beef, and you can lower those down quite a lot, which then coincides with that airbag suspension. So with the suspension, we're using straight trailing arms, which we actually build in-house ourselves, partnered up with a donut bag and on disc brakes as well. So it's going to take you to absolutely everywhere you do need to go. Down the bottom here, we were using a Rhino. We're now going towards a 2-pack Raptor, which is a rubberized paint. It deadens sound and also deadens objects that hit it. Getting into the van, we do not option it with a step, as this massively affects your departure angles around it. Moving towards the rear of the van, we are optioning this at the moment with 2 spares as a standard. Which, look, if you go through more than 1 spare, 90% of the time that's going to be user error with PSI, but this just gives you some safeguard if you do have any issues. We are fitting these vans with a single lens reverse camera as well. We can opt to do a dual lens depending on the situation that you're chasing. Now, a big part of why these are so strong, this rear bar is not a bolt-on. It is a full weld. So what that means is it acts as an exoskeleton for the van itself. There are 2 recovery points as well, so it's going to help you get out of a sticky situation. And there is also an Anderson plug on the rear for an external solar blanket. So if you are, look, a lot of the time it's going to be an overcast day, or you're going to be parking your van under some trees or in some shade. It allows you to put a blanket out and still get some power. This brings us to the offside of the van. Now, on this tunnel boot, or in this tunnel boot, should I say, we used to have it all the way open to the other side. We've now petitioned that off, which just gives you a little bit more comfortability when you are storing certain items. In the driver's side of the front box, it is very similar to the other side. Generally, we're using this as a generator slide, and that is also fitted with your brake safe and the onboard compressor with a line out. So the line out is going to allow you to pump up your tyres coming off the beach on both the van and the car, as well as footies, push bikes, and that kind of thing. Up the front, this is where the original shower was, and we've kept it in the same place. So not just giving you 1, but 2 external showers. Last part of this is we're looking at the jockey wheel. Now, we used to have a jockey wheel that was mounted on the side. We found it a lot more user-friendly to have it smack bang in the middle. Unlike a lot of jockey wheels where you have to actually remove the entire item and store it away in the car, with this one, it's extremely simple. You lower it down to when you're hitched onto your DO35 hitch, you pull this lever up, pull the jockey wheel all the way up, you pull off the handle, and that's all you then have to store. That brings us to inside the van. So a few things we'll talk through here. Your back right panel up here, this is where your main control sensor is. So this is where you're going to control the water pump, you're going to control the air compressor and your lights throughout the actual cabin themselves. So all of your lights, they're all touch in here. There's a little blue button at the top here. If you touch that little button there, it will turn the light off. Now, if you're quite a light sleeper, I would suggest coming up to the rear of the van and turning off the main switch. Otherwise, you can just switch it off from there. Now, as you'll see, throughout the van, you have canvas at the top. Once all these are open, it is extremely good for your airflow, and the light that comes in here is pretty well second to none. Now, fridge on board is a little 120 litre compressor fridge freezer. It's not massive, but it does everything you need it to do, and that combined with your external fridge is more than enough for the 2 of you. You do have some cabinets up here for some storage. And then you have your sink over here in the corner as well. Now, all the water running from inside, both from the sink and in from the shower, are going to be passed into that grey water tank that you have on board. So perfect for national parks. Now, in this layout, we have the 2 opposing bench seats from each other. And with our VH range, we're running a honeycomb flooring as well, which not only is it extremely strong, but it is lightweight. A few other little features that are new on this one. There is a little nook under the left-hand side here, with USB points, so perfect for charging your iPads, phones, and that kind of jazz. You have a massive amount of storage right the way through the van. And one thing that we have changed is on the driver's side. Down the bottom, we have some drawers here. They used to be flaps, but we've now made them drawers which go over the wheel arches, which gives you plenty of storage. Now, this van dry is coming in around about that 2150 mark with an ATM at 2950. So it is a massive amount of payload for 2 people. Another new thing we're looking at is the table. So the table used to be coming below the bed frame. With a new one, it comes out of that bed frame itself. So it is a lot stronger, and it is a full electronic table release as well. Inside the van, we have 2 Siroccos that are a standard feature. Yes, we can do more, but there's not really too much point as they service both the bed and the dinette area as well. Now, windows as large as you can get in a van this size. That is topped with pull down fly screens, which are flat instead of ribbed, and then blockouts from the bottom up if you wanted to have that little bit more of privacy. Up at the rear of the van, you're going to have reading lights on both the sides, and you're also going to have 12-volt power up there as well, and 240 on one of those sides. King bed is the standard option moving forward. Up here, we do have your TV antenna and 12-volt power as well. We have the combined toilet and shower. Very similar design to what we had beforehand. There's tweaked a few things, and obviously we're still sitting with that composting toilet. For 2 people, you've got 2 to 3 weeks before you then have to empty it. You also do have a little bit of storage in your shower as well. And look, if you are someone who likes a good view, you do have the canvas opening windows in there. Now, I'm 6'3", and to give you a bit of reference, there is a massive amount of room in here. Alrighty, so if we lift this up here, you'll see within the actual bed frame itself, we have the full electronic table, which if we push the button at the rear, pops out, such as, extends out, and look, it's quite a large table for 2 people. Once you're done, you slide it away and click it in. That's going to lock it for when you are traveling as well, to ensure that it's not coming out and banging you. Now, as you'll see, all of our cabinetry is not timber. There is no timber in these vans whatsoever. It's all aluminium, which has been laser cut, powder coated, and folded. Now, under here, you have storage drawers, which are absolutely massive. When it comes to the productions of these vans, we use as much local as possible. Currently, all of our mattresses are coming from the Yandina Mattress Company, and all of the upholstery is being done around the corner in Rosemount. So we try and use as much local as possible and really boost up that Australian economy. Battery management system, we have moved from being under the seats here to under the bed itself. So we're now providing you with a 300 amp lithium battery as a standard, partnered up with a full EnerDrive battery management system, and then a 2000 watt EnerDrive inverter. That is being powered by 2 solar panels on the roof, which are 330 watts each, so a total of 660 watts of solar. We do have the capability to upgrade that system. It all depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do that little bit more, it may worth be doing so, but for 90% of people in their everyday use, it's going to be more than enough for what they actually need. That concludes our tour. You probably have a massive amount of questions. Don't ever hesitate. Give us a buzz at the dealership. We're happy to help out with any inquiries you may have.